Okay, hello everybody. My name is Bucas Pequez. I'm a construction worker here in Canada, Alberta. And today I come in here to introduce our friend Rod Calvert. And the whole reason for this podcast is to inform you guys, So Rod, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much for having me, Bucas. Yeah, we're coming to you from the Building Trades offices. The Building Trades is an organization that represents workers right across Alberta, the Building Trades of Alberta. We also work with the Canadian Building Trades and the North American Building Trades. We represent the skilled trades professionals across all of North America.
Okay, and that's all the cement masons, carpenters, laborers, So we're here to represent the worker guys. So today's topic is just to introduce ourselves. And this is the place where you guys can raise your voice. And we're gonna discuss about immigration. We're gonna discuss about the opportunities we're gonna have as workers. We're gonna discuss about some issues we're facing today in construction, which is there is a lot of issues, and especially in my community, the Spanish community, where they've been abusing all these workers, and one or two guys take all the profits, and let this guy with nothing.
Yeah, when Vukas came to us to talk about the abuse of Hispanic workers here in Alberta, I didn't believe it. It was a couple years ago, almost now, and he started telling me about people working for cash, about the injuries, about the lack of workers' compensation, about people living 20 to a house. It was hard for me to believe it was happening here in Alberta.
Yeah, no, and this is pretty common actually in our community, because mostly the Spanish workers that come in here, they're trying to do better for themselves, but they've been recruiting for all these other Spanish guys where they're taking profit from that, and some of the examples we have here on the Yellowhead, so let's not go too far. The Yellowhead, they've been building by undocumented workers, which is one or two guys that keep their overtime, they keep most of their wages, and they pay them $20 an hour for cash, with no safety training or no any kind of information, to trying to get them the work permit so they can stay here legally.
And we brought in a lot of these workers to talk to and heard their stories, and we put together a whole report. The reports had people getting envelopes full of cash. It had housing conditions. It had hidden video from work sites where people are offered jobs for cash, and if they're collecting employment insurance, then they can double up their wages by taking cash on top of that and still work. That's not the Canadian dream. That is not what we are here to do. So we put that report together, and I'll tell you, we went to the city council twice. We brought it to City Council of Edmonton. We went to the city manager. We went to the mayor. We went to the UCP. We went to the NDP. We brought it to federal government, and nobody was willing to pick it up. It sounded too unbelievable to be happening in Alberta. And so the purpose of this podcast is to help you. It's not to hurt you. They wanted us to just call immigration and rat people out that were working illegally and have them shipped home. That's not how workers look after workers. And what the building trades are is a group of workers that have come together to look after each other. We negotiate fair agreements. We bring good working conditions. We make sure that you have enough time off for your family, and if you don't and you have to work, that you're collecting overtime that's appropriate. When I heard that there's subcontractors, Hispanic subcontractors, who are told by these companies, you can keep your workers overtime, that is not the Canadian dream. That is not how construction works here, and we are here to try and help you to make it better.
Yeah, it's very unfortunately, and my community, like most of the workers, they had to face this. And let me tell you one thing about it. The reason these subcontractors, they're doing so well is because we have a different system in South America, or Central America. We don't have a personal tax, so we don't pay it down there. You pay 10% on everything you purchase. That's how they do it down there. So when the new immigrant came here in Canada, they're not familiar with the laws, they're not familiar with the system. So, and this is where these subcontractors, they take advantage of them, and they're recruiting there by promise their work, and they also promise that he can be his own boss. So what are they doing most of these guys? These guys, they've been directed to go open their own, company or get a GST number so they can work under that. But then a few years later, he find out he owned all this money to the government.
For income tax.
For income tax. So after that, the same guy who directed him to open that company telling him, well, that's okay, you can file for bankruptcy. So as soon as they file for bankruptcy, after that, a few months later, they find out, you know, it's not a joke. So what are they doing after that? Well, with no credit, you know, and with no work on the winter time, because most of these guys, they're not working on the winter time, so they don't have another auction by going back to their countries, you know. And that's how we're losing all these skilled workers, you know. And I would tell them they're skilled workers to me, you know, because most of these contractors, they're using the lack of education against them. Or they told them, well, I cannot pay you more because you don't speak English, or I cannot pay you more because you know how to red seal, you know. But nobody's promoting the education. Nobody giving them the opportunity, you know. And I know myself, you know, I've been working on the union side, on the industrial side, you know. And thanks to the union and the, you know, Building Trades, basically, you know, I did it better for myself, you know. But I'm one of that guy, Rob. You know, imagine how many people there are right now out there, you know, with no opportunity to do that, you know.
And we just left a meeting today with the government, and they told us how much work is coming to this province, and they want to know, how are we going to have enough people to do these jobs, men and women that are willing to do construction? And that's you. If you're working construction right now, we need you to be a legal Canadian. We need to help you get that legal Canadian status. In Toronto, they ran a program and they gave 500 amnesty spots, and they filled up like that, and then they gave them some more. We need that amnesty here in Alberta. We need to make sure that you can come to us and that we can help you gain Canadian citizenship, and that you can partake in everything that it means to be Canadian. We have a middle class here. It is great. The construction world in Alberta is still a good paying wage that allows you to buy a house and put your kids into the school you want, and our health and welfare plans. There's so many opportunities you are missing by working illegally. Yes, you might be getting more cash than you would get at home, but it's not enough to buy a truck and insure it, and it's not enough to buy a house, and it's not enough to put your kid into university. If your kid is meant for university or trade school, it's not enough getting paid cash. We need to do better. We're here to help you.
It's not only that, Rob, you know, like these people, they think they're making more money. You don't make more money, you know, because when you're working like this illegally with no protection, you know, if you break your back, you're on your own. Not thinking that that guy who owned that company is going to back you up and is going to keep paying you the same wages, you know. No, you're only there for as a tool for him, you know. So guys, you know, like use this channel, use these postcaps to raise your voice, you know. Anybody out there who wants who been mistreated, anybody out there who working for what is under the privilege, the minimum wage, you know, get a hold of us, you know. We're here to help workers. The Building Trades is here to support the workers, you know, and we need you guys, you know. We need more people to come into the trades, women, you know, men, we need, you know. So it's the shortage right now. I believe that every year they're losing 40,000 people, you know. This part of these 40,000 people, you know, like they must be all these Hispanics who get in screwed by all these big corporations, you know.
That's right.
And here, we're not going that far. Here on the Yellowhead, we have a municipal project. It's being paid by the taxpayer, you know. This is your money and this is my money, you know. And what are they doing with this money, you know? Right now, they're abusing these workers, you know, because they're paying them the minimum, which, you know, let's say $20 an hour cash, but then they're keeping the rest. They keep their overtime. So these guys, they're thinking, oh, I'm a businessman. No, you are not a businessman, buddy. You know, what are they doing is they're abusing you. And this is Canada, you know. The reason that we have to leave our country and we have to come in this country and we have to start over everything, you know, like a little baby. You start learning English, how to talk, then we have to start everything over, is because we have the same situation on the past down there. And everybody who live that country, everybody know how it's down there, you know. So when you come in here and you have all these benefits, you know, and you have all these great people and organization protecting the workers, you know, guys, come into here. We're here to helping you guys. Hopefully, you know, this podcast help you guys to find information regarding, you know, jobs opportunity, regarding, you know, immigration process, you know. We're here to support you guys.
If this podcast is going to run at least once a month, I'm not going to be on it. We're going to have Hispanic people who are being mistreated, come here and talk about their stories and tell what's going on. More importantly than us is the people that are out there in the field We need to worry about you. We need to protect you. We're going to put the email up at the end of this podcast, and a contact number where you can reach us if you need help with immigration documentation, if you need help with legal, if you are being abused by contractors. Any problem is not too big for us to find the support to help you out. We're here to do that through VUCAS, through other Hispanic people that have come over to the union side to tell us just how bad it is out there. We are here to help. So at the end of this podcast, there will be a email and a contact number. Please reach out to us.
Yeah, and guys, like I said, use this podcast as a tool for raise your voice. I know a lot of people they've been mistreating. I know a lot of women, they've been treated unfair, they pay them less just because they are women, Use this, I want you guys to learn, here in Canada, you have a laws and they have to obey by the laws, and we're here to support the workers, and this big corporation or these guys who's serving, to them, they can promise you anything they want, but at the end of the day, it's just the promise. The union usually have a collective agreement, which is writing on paper, and the promise is just the words,
Yeah, we will stop this one way or another. This is an underground economy that is hurting your local, the carpenters, the cement masons, the bricklayers, the laborers. These used to be good paying jobs until they found a way to cheat. And the way to cheat is by abusing you. So all workers across this province are suffering that are in cement, that are in concrete, that are in forming, because they've found this loophole of contractor and subcontractor and sub of a sub and sub of a sub of a sub. And it's just a way to hide. The city says that's all up to the general contractor. The general contractors know what's going on here. It's just buried so deep, they don't think the city who's paying the money is going to find it. They're going to find it because we're going to get this podcast out there, and we're going to go to the federal government, and we're going to go to the provincial government. We need to shine a light on this, and we're going to do that regardless. So let's make sure that you become a Canadian and that you come through our system and that we can help you.
Okay, well, guys, I want to thank you guys for your time. I want to thank you, Rob, for coming today, and I spoke about that. And, our information is going to be there at the end of this podcast. So make sure you write it down. And we're going to do once a month, like I said. We're going to discuss about a lot of things over here. And we're here minting to support the workers. So if you're out there and you need the support, we're here for you, buddy,
Thanks for having me, Pukas.
Okay, thank you, Rob.